Okay, let's look at the solution of DPP2 exercise 1 of 1D motion in straight line. Okay, so I have already shared the DPP with you. This was basically our assignment, and this is the first question of our assignment. Let's look at the question and let's discuss the solution. Are you at rest right now? This is the basic question. Are you at rest right now? Does the answer varies for different persons reading the same question? Think and explain. So whether you are at rest or whether you are moving, that actually depends on observer. So observer, for different observers, rest or motion of any object is different. It means that for some observers you, or we can say we, may be at rest. Okay, while for other observers we may be in motion. So rest and motion are equivalent, and it depends on the observer. Okay, it depends on the observer. Okay, I have already given you the example for this situation. Suppose you are sitting in a train. Okay, so you are at rest with respect to the person who is sitting next to you. Okay, now if the train is moving, okay, and if I see you people sitting in the train and your train is moving with a certain velocity, then for me, you and the person sitting next to you both are moving. Okay, so you people are moving for observer like me who is on platform, while for other observers sitting in your bogie, what you people will feel that you all are at rest. Okay, so rest and motion, it depends on the observer. So does the answer varies from different person reading the same question? So answer is yes, the answer varies person to person, because they could be in different locations, they could be in different reference frames. Okay, so this is what is our first question, answer of the first question. Okay, see, this answer is not very specific that you should not exactly write the answer in this particular line to line. Okay, you can explain the answer in your own way. Okay, so there is no strict and specific answer for this question. Simply the main point is that your answer should reflect is, your answer should tell that yes, different observers will see the same object either at rest or moving, and depending on their own frame of reference. Okay, so that is the conclusion of this answer. Okay, so now let's move to the next question, question number 2. Now in this question number 2, there is a statement: I left my home at 5 a.m., jogged for 5 km and was back at my home by 7 a.m. So I left at 5 a.m. and I was back home by 7 a.m. and what distance I have covered is 5 km. Okay, I was feeling really tired due to the large displacement I have gone through. Comment on this statement. So, and this is second part of the question, so we will comment on this statement. So let us look at the statement once again. I left my home at 5 a.m. then I have done jog for 5 km and then I was back by 7 a.m. okay, that is fine. I was feeling very really tired. That is also fine due to large displacement. What can you say about this situation? I have started from my home, okay, then I have done lot of motion, and then I have reached the same point which is my home after this large motion, which is of totally 5 kilometer. So since my initial position is this, my final position is this, then I can say that my displacement is 0, and it is not very large. Since there is a statement here, I was feeling really tired due to the large displacement, so this is wrong. What should be the correct statement? Due to large distance I have covered. We cannot write displacement here, so this displacement is a wrong part of the statement. So what should be the correct part? I was feeling really tired due to the large distance and not displacement. Remember, displacement is 0, distance I have gone through. Okay, so this should be the correction in the statement. Okay, so this is what we have commented about the statement. Now let us look at the second part of the question. Also calculate my average speed during the time interval 5 am to 7 am. Okay, so average speed, we have the formula for average speed. Average speed is equal to total path length or total distance traveled divided by time interval during which this distance has been traveled. Okay, so total path length, if you look at the question, it was 5 kilometer. Okay, and this was done from 5 am to 7 am. It means it was completed in 2 hours. So the total path length was 5 kilometer in 2 hours of time. So 5 by 2 is, I guess, 2.5 kilometer per hour is my average speed. Okay, and what can you see? This is our answer of this question. But if they will ask you what will be the average velocity, then since the displacement is 0, average velocity is total displacement upon total time, and in that case the answer will be 0 if they ask you about average velocity. Okay, but since the average speed depends on path length or total distance traveled, which is 5, and the time is 5 am to 7 am, which is 2 hours of duration, so time interval is 2 hours, so 5 by 2 is 2.5 kilometer per hour. So it was very easy question. Now let us look at the next question. Now the third question, when can the distance traveled by a body be equal to the magnitude of displacement of the body? See, the distance traveled is the actual path which is traveled, okay, and the displacement is shortest distance between initial and final position A and B. Okay, so if the object travels in straight line, then the distance traveled and the displacement will remain same without changing its direction. So the answer to this question is, if object or body travels in straight line without change in its direction. So the direction of motion of object, should not change during its motion. Then we can say, then the distance traveled is equal to the displacement. Okay, displacement. So this is the answer of the question. Now let us look at question number 4. Okay, in this question, a body moves from x equal to -1 to x equal to 4. So let us draw x-axis here. This is my x-axis, and let us say this is origin O, 0, and body moves from x equal to -1 to x equal to, let us say, 1 2 3 and 4, x equal to 4. Okay, so body moves from x equal to -1 to x equal to 4, and then to x equal to -4. Again it will move to this side, -2 -3 and then -4. Okay, which of the following is correct? Now look at the motion, complete motion. It has started from x equal to -1, then it went here. Okay, so from here it went here. Okay, from x equal to -1 to x equal to 4, -1 to 4, then from -4, then from 4 to -4, then it went from here to here. So this is final position, this is initial position. Okay, so its displacement is 0. This statement is wrong, since its initial and final position are different. Initial and final positions are different, so displacement cannot be 0. So this statement is perfectly wrong. Okay, which of the following statement is correct? So we have to find correct statement. So this is wrong, this is not the answer. The distance covered by it is 5 units. So if we look at the distance covered, so this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 units. Distance covered is 13 units. So this is also wrong. Displacement is -3. If you look at this, displacement is given by, displacement is x final coordinate minus x initial coordinate. So its final coordinate is -4 minus initial coordinate is -1. So this will be -4 plus 1. This will be equal to -3. So this option looks correct. Okay, the distance covered by it is 9 unit. Let us check the distance covered. This was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and then again this will be again 5 plus 5 10 11 12 13. So the distance covered is 13, it is not 9. So this is also wrong. Okay, so this is how we solve question number 4. Let us look at question number 5. Okay, in this question, a particle moves from A to B in a circular path of radius r. Look at the diagram. Okay, covering an angle theta as shown in this figure. So this is x-axis, y-axis, this is point A, this is circle of radius r. Okay, and particle moves from A to B along circumference of circle. Okay, so particle will cover this curved path. Fine. Okay, particle will move along this curved path. Find the ratio of magnitude of distance and displacement of the particle. Since distance covered will be this curved path, displacement will be a straight line joining A and B. So I'll draw this particular part separately. So let us say this is our origin. So what this part will look like, let us say this is our A, this is origin, and this distance will be r, this part. Okay, this is our point B. Again this is radius, this angle is theta, and the path traveled is this kind of path, it is arc. Okay, and this will be distance. Okay, and if we say displacement, so displacement would look like this, it will be a straight line. Fine. So let us find first distance. So distance equal to, so in this figure, if we look at this part, this is arc of circle, and we know that length of arc is equal to radius into theta. So s equal to r theta, we know this formula, s equal to r theta. This is for length of arc. Okay, using this formula, the radius is r and angle is theta. Remember, this angle should be in radian, but anyways we will consider this angle as in angle in radian. This is our first distance part is completed. Now we have to find displacement. So to find this displacement AB, what we will do, look at the options. There are sin theta by 2, sin theta, something sin theta or sin theta by 2 is there. So if I consider this part, it looks like a triangle. OAB is a triangle. Okay, so let me rotate this so that you can see the triangle clearly. Okay, so look at this triangle AOB, it's a triangle. Okay, and if you look at this side, these sides are equal, so it's an isosceles triangle. Fine. So if I draw altitude of this, okay, then this distances will be equal. Okay, these distances will be equal. And what will be this distance? Let us say if I say this distance as y, this distance as a y, so this will be 2y, which will be the displacement. Okay, 2y will be the displacement. And what will be value of y in terms of theta? Since this is theta, so this will be theta by 2. Okay, and if this is theta by 2, and if you look at this triangle, it is a right angle triangle, this half triangle is a right angle triangle. So we can write from this triangle that sine of this angle theta by 2 will be opposite side upon hypotenuse, y upon r. So sine of theta by 2 is y upon r. I'll write here sine of theta by 2 will be sine of theta by 2, this is theta by 2, will be y upon r. Okay, so from this y equal to r sine theta by 2. Fine, this is my y, and the total displacement is from A to B, which is twice this y. So therefore displacement will be 2y, since this is y, this is y, so total displacement is 2y, and it will be 2r sine theta by 2. This is my second equation, and what we have to find is ratio of magnitude of distance to displacement. So distance divided by displacement, so divide this distance by displacement, so distance divided by displacement, and this will give you r theta, this equation, divided by 2r sine theta by 2, and if I cut this r, what I get is theta upon 2 sine theta by 2. This will be our answer. If you look at option, so theta upon 2 sine theta by 2 is this option first, which is the correct answer. Let us look at next question. Okay, in this question, a person moves 30 meter north, then 20 meter east, then 30 root 20 meter southwest. The displacement from the original position is. Now you should know the directions first. This is north, south, east and west. Okay, now let us draw the diagram for this. Person moves 30 meter towards north, so let us say this is 30 meter towards north. Okay, let us say the person started from here, he moved 30 meter towards north, then 20 meter east. Okay, after this point he moved 20 meter towards it east. So let me draw this 20 meter towards east. Fine, then 30 root 2 meter towards southwest. So at this point, what will be the direction of southwest? It will be this direction. So from this point the person will move like this. Okay, and that angle will be 45 degree. Remember, southwest direction is 45 degree from east. Okay, so this angle will be 45 degree, and he will move 30 root 2. Okay, so let us first calculate this distance. Okay, let me say that this will be the 30 root 2. We don't know what is that 30 root 2. Okay, so let us we don't know that whether it will be this particular from this point to this point, or it will be from this point to this point, or it will be from this point to this point. Okay, so I have drawn this as a dotted line. We don't know this exact line. Okay, but we can find this distance from this point to this point. So let us find this distance particularly. Okay, so if we find this distance particularly, then it will be under root of 20 square plus 30 square, and this will come out to be 400 plus 900, है ना? So 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9. Okay, so this comes out to be this much, and we can write this as 13, and this 100 will be 10. So this will be 10 root 13. Okay, and it's a little bit difficult to compare this number and this number. So what we will do, we will take this number 30 root 2. 30 root 2 can be written as root of 30 square will be 3 square is 9, so this will be 900 into 2, and this will be 1800. Now we can compare these two numbers. Since this diagonal, if we look at this diagonal will be of the length root 1300, and this displacement from this particular point is 30 root 2, which is root 2 of 1800, which is more. Okay, so definitely the actual path will be this one. Okay, and we can also evaluate this angle theta. Since this one is 45, we can say that this angle cannot be 45. Okay, and we can evaluate it. How to evaluate that angle? Tan of 30 by 20. So you can do that tan of 3 by 2, and that will come out to be something greater than 45, slightly greater than 45. Okay, so this angle is less, this particular angle or this triangle, if we consider this as right angle triangle. Okay, let us give name ABC. So this AC line will make angle greater than 45 degree with this line. Okay, so this is the actual path that we have drawn. So let us say this is the actual path through which the person has traveled, and he reached here. Okay, so what is his original displacement then? So this will be his original displacement. This is initial position, this is final position, and this will be the displacement of the person. Okay, so how much is this displacement? To find this displacement, what we have to do, we have to consider this triangle. This is 20, this is 90, this is 45, so this must be 45, and this distance will be, this is, since this triangle becomes 45, 45, 90, so this side will be 20 from here to here, and this side will be 10. Since total is 30, this is 20 from B to, let us say this point is X, so BX is 20, so XA will be 10. Okay, so now we have this 10. Now look at this triangle FXA. Look at triangle FXA. This angle is 45, this side is 10. Okay, this is 90, and then obviously since this is 90, this is 45, this must be 45 final position, this is initial position, and since this is 10, this is 45, 45, 90 triangle, this must also be 10. So the final displacement will be 10 meter. Okay, and if you look at the direction, it is towards west. So this is the correct answer of the question. Okay, so it's a very interesting question, and it's a thought based question. Fine. So now we'll look at question number 7. In question number 7, a student goes from his house to his friend's house with speed v1. Let us draw the diagram for this. Okay, let us say this is our student, this is his friend's house. Okay, and he goes from his house to his friend's house with speed v1. Okay, so let us say during this journey his speed is v1 constant. Okay, finding the door of his friend's closed, return back to his own house with speed v2. Now since he is returning with speed v2 through of course the same path, then average speed of the student. Now we have to find average speed. So in this case, let us say the distance traveled is x in forward, and again since he is moving in the same path reverse, so the distance traveled will be x again. Okay, so the average speed is given by total distance traveled divided by total, since we have to find average speed, total distance traveled by total time taken. Okay, so if you look at the distance traveled, x in forward and x in reverse, so total distance traveled is 2x. Fine. And what will be the time in forward direction? So since the speed is constant, time equal to distance upon speed, so this will be x upon v1 will be t1, and while coming back the time will be different, t2 will be same distance divided by speed v2. So putting total time t1 plus t2, put the values 2x upon t1 is x upon v1 and t2 is x upon v2. So this will be x upon v1 plus x upon v2. Cut this x, take x common and then cut it. You get this 2 upon 1 by v1 plus 1 by v2. So let us cross multiply this. It will be 2 upon, this will be v2 plus v1. So this will be v1 plus v2 divided by v1 v2, and take that v1 v2 on the numerator. Since it is in third denominator, we can take it to the numerator. So it will be 2 v1 v2 divided by v1 plus v2. So this is our answer. Option 3 is the correct answer. Fine. So it was very easy question. In question number 8, a car moves a distance of 200 meter. It covers the first half of the distance at speed 40 km per hour and second half of the distance at speed v km per hour. The average speed is 48 km per hour. The value of v is. Okay, so it's a very easy question. There are two methods to solve this question. Either you should know the direct formula, or you can calculate using your basic ideas also. Okay, but let me tell you how this question works. Okay, so a car moves the distance of 200 meters. So let us draw the diagram first. Let us say this is 200 meter journey, and it covers first half of the distance, means it covers 100 meter with a speed of 40. Fine. And then second half means remaining 100 meter. Since total journey is 200 meter, it is given here, total journey is 200 meter. First journey is 100 meter at speed of 40, and the second half of the journey is at speed v. Okay, so the average speed v average equal to 48. Okay, so there are two methods to solve this. The very easy method is to use the formula, since the car is covering equal distances. These are equal distances, 100 meter and 100 meter with different speeds. So we can use this formula, average speed equal to 2v1 v2 upon v1 plus v2. This was the formula derived in previous example. Okay, this is one method, and there is another method. So you can try this. Put value of v average, which is 48 km per hour. Okay, v1 and v2. So you can take this as v1 and this as v2. So this will be 40 v upon 40 plus v equal to 48, and then solve this to find the value of v. Okay, so this is one method, and I am leaving this method for you. I'll tell you the other method also. Okay, so this is the easiest method. If you know the formula, you can directly put the values and you can find the answer. There is another method to find average speed, our standard method. Average speed is defined as total distance traveled divided by total time taken. Okay, so in this case, total distance traveled is 100 plus 100, 200 meter. Time taken, so time taken in this journey will be, since we know that time is distance upon speed, so if we put here, so it will be distance 100 divided by speed 40 plus distance 100 divided by speed v, and this average speed is equal to 48. So this is equal to 48 as per the question. So let us solve. 48 equal to 200 divided by, you can take this 100 common also. So what is left is 1 by 40 plus 1 by v. You can cross multiply this part. Okay, cut this 0 0. What is left is 48 equal to 2 upon, this will be v plus 40 upon 40v. So upon 40 we will go here. Okay, and now let us simplify this. So this will be 42 is 80v divided by this. Take this term to that side, so that will be 48v plus 48 into 40. So 48 into 40 is 1920. 48 into 40. So I have multiplied these two terms. Okay, and now take this to left side. So 80 minus 48. 80 minus 48 comes out to be 32. 32v equal to 1920. So our v will be 1920 divided by 32. So 3 6 is 18. So if we multiply this 32 by 6, let us find what we get. 6 to the and 192. So if we divide this, we get 6 and 0. So answer is 60 km per hour. So this is long method. Okay, and but you don't have to remember any formula for this method. Okay, you already know this formula, you can directly find this answer, but it will take lot of calculation. If you directly put values in this formula, you will get answer. When to use this formula? If object covers equal distances with different constant speeds, then you can use this formula. Okay, if equal to part of its journey. Okay, let us say total journey is 200 meters, so it should be 100 and 100, so two equal parts of the journey. In that case, you can use this formula, or in general you can use this formula for all cases. Okay, so we get answer 60, and the answer is this, option 2. The position coordinates of an object are given by x equal to this, y equal to this, and z equal to this. These are position coordinates and they are function of time, so the object is moving. The average velocity of the particle during the interval 0 to 1 second. So we want to find average velocity. Okay, so we have the formula for average velocity, total displacement upon total time taken. Okay, since the time interval is from 0 to 1, it is 1 second. Fine. To find the displacement, we should know the initial and final position coordinates. These are x, y, z coordinates. So let us find x, y, z coordinate at t equal to 0. So that will be initial position. And if we put t equal to 0 in this equation, we get x equal to 0, 2 into 0 square. 0 minus 4 into 0, so y equal to 0. 3 into 0, 0 minus 5, it will be minus 5. So this is my initial position. Okay, we have three coordinates x, y, z for a single point. Remember that this is in space, 3-dimension space, and this point is a single point. Fine. Then we can also find the position coordinates at t equal to 1 second. Putting t equal to 1 in these equations, we get 2 into 1 square 2, then 1 square minus 4 into 1, so 1 minus 4 is minus 3, and then this will be 3 into 1, 3 minus 5 minus 2. So these are coordinates of two different points in space. Okay, and the displacement will be the shortest distance between these 2 points. Let us say these are the 2 points and this will be the displacement. So we can find displacement by using distance formula. What is distance formula in this case? So the displacement we average will be displacement, total displacement will be under root of distance. We are using distance formula, so this minus this, 2 minus 0 is 2 square, plus minus 3 minus 0 is minus 3 square, plus minus 2 minus of minus 5, so that will be minus 2 plus 5. 5 minus 2 is 3 bracket square, and what we get here is 4 plus 9 plus 9, and this will be 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So this will be root 22 units, and if we look at the answer, we have this answer here. Okay, so simply we can use distance formula here to find displacement, and since time is 1, so dividing this by 1 you will get the same answer, and that's why I have not written the time here. Dividing by 1, so I have not written that dividing by 1. Okay, so this is our answer. Question number 10. The position of a particle depends on time according to this relation. The speed of the particle at any time t equal to 2 seconds. Okay, so we have x as a function of time and we want to find speed, so we will use this formula. Speed is dx by dt. We will differentiate this equation, so this will be 3, derivative of t is 1, minus derivative of 1 into t square, so derivative of t square is 2t. So this will be my speed at t equal to 2 second. Put t equal to 2 second here, so we get v equal to 3 minus 2 into t equal to 2, so this will be 3 minus 4 minus 1 meter per second. So answer is option 1. So it was very easy question. Question number 11. Identify the correct statement. Okay, we have to find the correct statement, so there could be one correct statement and 3 wrong statement. So let us look at each option one by one. Distance traveled represents the magnitude of displacement. This is not always true. This is true only when object is traveling in a straight line without changing its direction. Okay, so distance is in most of the cases more than the magnitude of displacement, so this is wrong statement. This is not always true. Average speed represents the magnitude of average velocity. Again same situation, this is correct when the object is not changing its direction. So this is also true in some cases and false in some cases. So this is not always true. So this cannot be correct statement. Average acceleration is defined as change in velocity upon time. Okay, so it is not average velocity upon time. So this is wrong formula. Now last one, instantaneous speed is equal to magnitude of instantaneous velocity. So this is correct statement. So if we have instantaneous velocity, since the interval is very small, so magnitude of instantaneous velocity will be same as instantaneous speed. So this is the correct statement. Question number 12. A person goes to his office from his home daily at a fixed speed. So let us draw the diagram for this question. Let us say this is person's home and this is his office, and let us assume he is moving in a straight line. Okay, doesn't matter whether he moves in straight line or not, but now he goes from his office from his home daily at a fixed speed. Let us say he goes from home to office at speed v1. Okay, but today he decided to reduce his speed by 20%. So his speed today will be v2 equal to v1 minus 20%. So this will be 0.2. 20% is 0.2 of v1. Okay, 20 by 100. So that will be 0.2 of v1, and this will be speed for today. So if we solve this, it will be 1 minus 0.2, so 0.8 v1. This will be today's speed. As a result, he reaches his office 16 minutes late. So let us say in this case, in first case, when he was moving with speed v1, let us say the time required was t1. Okay, so in this second case, today's case, the time required will be t2, and he reaches 16 minutes late. So he will take 16 minutes more time. So let us say original time was t1 and he take 16 minutes more. This is in minutes. Okay, this whole time is in minute. So today he will take t1 previous time plus additional 16 minutes, so that he will be 16 minutes late. What's the actual time he takes? So we have to find this t1. We have to find this t1 in this question. Okay, so from this part, let us say the distance traveled by him is x. In both the cases the distance remains x. So we know that speed equal to distance upon time, or time equal to time t1 equal to distance x upon speed v1, x upon v1 in regular case, daily cases. Now in today's case, it is t2 equal to t1 plus 16. Again using the same formula, t2 time equal to distance upon speed, so distance is again x, but today's speed is v2. Okay, today's speed is v2 equal to t1. T1 is this x upon v1 plus 16. Okay, using this equation here. Okay, now v2 is our 0.8 v1. So we can write x upon 0.8 v1 equal to x upon v1 plus 16. We have to now simplify this equation and we will get the answer. So taking x upon v1 common, this will be 1 by 0.8. Take this term on this side, so there will be minus 1 for this term, since we have taken x by v1 common, and there will be 16 on that side. So let us simplify again. So this will be x upon v1. If you look at this equation, x upon v1 is t1. So this is basically t1. This is basically t1 bracket 1 minus 0.8. So that will be 0.2 divided by 0.8 equal to, this will be 16. It is in minutes. So 0.2 and point gets cancelled. So t equal to 16.8 is multiplied there. So that will be 8 by 2, and that will be 8, and we get is 64. Okay, so 64 minutes should be the answer. And if you look at the option 3 is the correct answer. Fine. So this is all about our solution to the exercise that I have shared to you. Okay, so if you still have any doubt, then you can just WhatsApp me, and or you can directly ask on KS app, and we will discuss the solution personally. Fine. So see ya.